Jeff Ward,
Hi, Jeff Lowe.
this is where we found you in the future. What was it like joining this cast in season 5 and continuing on into season 6 as you have miraculously returned?
Yeah, it was crazy. I obviously, these guys all know I was cast as a different part. I was cast as Virgil, who gets claws through his face in the second scene he is in. And so I thought that I was going to be there for one day, and then I ended up coming back. And
then he killed the table read so massively as the guy who gets clawed in scene 2. And another person, I guess, wasn't available or didn't work out, and we
had never found it. We were still looking.
Yeah.
And then
We have we've done a lot of episodes of this show, and we have people come in every week for a new table read and come in and read, and usually we're shooting and half of us are covered in blood and we're tired, and we do the table read and we hear this story out loud and then we leave. And people die all the time on the show. Jeff came in, was this one character that died, and I've never heard a table read. No one ever reacted like that. When he died as the other character, everyone went, no! We didn't know who he was at all. He came in and he just stole the part, and immediately you just wanted more of him, and he's been such a wonderful addition, and we love you.
I owe all of them a lot of money for saying that, so that's...
Paid me.
Well, it's funny because as and then they were like, okay, you're doing 3 episodes. And I was like, amazing. And then you're doing 4 and 5. And then it was amazing seeing the part where it blows up white light, because we were doing that episode. We did the table read for that episode, and I got blown up. And right afterwards, one of our ADs, Jocko, took me back into the office, and he goes, hey man, I just wanted to show you. And it was a wall of headshots with huge X's all over all of them. And he was like, see how many people died on this show? You're in good company. And I was like, oh, so I'm dying. Okay, well, I didn't know that. I didn't know I was gonna get pulled into this room and told that right now, but cool. And yeah, I appreciate that. And then usually when someone dies, they kind of give them an applause at the table read, like, thanks so much for being here, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get that, so I was like, they gave me that part and must very much regret it. But, and then they were like, no, you're coming in the next one, and then it kind of went from there, and it's, I'm trying not to get emotional. It was crazy because I fell in love with all these people, working with them and being with them every day, and they're all such talented artists and really care about what we're doing and care about each other, and it comes from the bosses down to Clark, to Ming, to Chloe, to everybody sitting up here is everybody's took me in a way that they really didn't have to, and it's when you're coming onto a show that already exists, it doesn't usually work out that way. So to be taken in by this family in that way, and now 2.5 years later, I love all these people very, very much, and to watch all that, it's crazy.
I'm just happy that I used to have the biggest laugh on set, and when Jeff came along, he took that crown. It was awesome.
Everyone constantly tells me to stop.
You can tell, when they're on stage. You can hear, when Ming's around. You hear it in the distance. Ming's here, and now Jeff fits in the same category.
And they also everybody, the character started to change so much because of
Zima.
Because they wrote me that amazing scene, and that kind of, I think, started to shift where the character went a little bit and turned him into what he is now, which is crazy. And but it's been an honor to be part of this. I'm really lucky.
So Clark, as we are getting closer to wrapping up, I think it's sort of right and honest to talk about the end of season 5, where we really thought that was going to be the end, and so you got to finally say goodbye to Agent Phil Coulson. And what was that like?
Oh, it was, the episode was called The End. As our family that's out there knows, we never know when we're shooting the end of the thing if we're going to get another season. Kind of felt like we weren't sure if we would, and it was just an episode where Coulson is, he's not entirely unhappy because he's stepping onto the sands of Tahiti with someone who's going to make it very magical. If you know what I'm saying. Stop it, that was immature, I apologize. Too late for that, right? But what was written was really beautiful and really a culmination of a lot of stuff. And, what happened with Ian was incredibly moving. And as everyone has said here, the membrane between the fictional story and our real lives gets very thin. And there's a lot of history and love, and we've been through a lot of stuff together. So saying goodbye and saying I love you to Chloe, I couldn't even rehearse the scene. I just said, put tape down where we're supposed to stand, turn those things on, because it's going to get messy. And it was an amazing episode to shoot, and nobody was more surprised than me to hear about Sarge. Just trying to give you a segue, boss.
It is a segue into, I think we're going to try to pull something off here that I don't know that we're going to be able to pull off. We have a few minutes to do some Q&A, and when I mean a few minutes, we have like 3. So we're going to do a lightning round. So these are questions that you ask that can be answered with a yes or a no. So whatever you think you're asking, think about it so that we can get as many people as we can. So go.
Hey everyone.
Hey,
Hey.
hi.
Sit down.
My question. Wait, let me ask. My question is, during the 5-year gap and the events of Avengers Endgame, where were you guys?
These stories take place before that happened. Thank you. Next.
Good question, though. Next.
Would there be that season of Timmy and Craig doing the space mission out there for 6 months in space?
Will there possibly be a spin-off for Quake and Simmons since they were out in space for 6 months?
Yes, please.
Good question.
Great question.
Yes.
I will say
Yes.
that I will say there's been some very little, but some talk about a comic book following that storyline. So
What?
there's talk about the adventures in space. Some of our writers,
See that?
Okay, this is where a lightning round turns into storms.
Thank you, sir.
Next. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Wait.
That's so good.
Is Daisy ever gonna read that letter that Coulson wrote her?
Oh.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, next.
I like your outfit. Amazing. Yes,
Snap.
Is Sarge an alternate version of Coulson?
Sorry,
You know
I didn't
what?
hear anything he said. What did he say?
Sarge the ultimate version
I think that's
of
another
Coulson.
stay tuned.
Listen, I think you have to stay tuned.
That's another stay tuned.
I think that there's an episode on Friday night.
Friday night that will answer some of those questions.
Yes. Next.
Will Fitz and Simmons get married again?
Good question.
Sure.
Next. Go.
Will Fitz and Simmons ever take Deep to Scotland?
In the comic book.
Yes, definitely, for sure.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yes? Okay. Hi. Is there any chance that we're going to see any of the agents in the Marvel Cinematic Universe post-season 7?
None of us
There's
We don't know. That we don't know.
always a chance. Anything can happen.
Yay!
Oh, these guys.
Hello. Hi.
Hey, just wanted to ask, is it true that season 7 will be the most awesome season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. yet?
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Yes.
And I am being told by this blinking clocky thing that that we're out of time, but we cannot say goodbye without also giving you a little bit of something that no one else has seen, which is next trailer is a hint of what is to come at the end of season 6.